Tim Hummel's base hit in the 11th enabled the Reds to end the homestand on an upswing. They had a chance to celebrate for the first time in a while because they're coming to St. Louis where the Cardinals are 17 games over 500 for Tony La Russa. They've got the big-time offense, #1 in the league. And oh yeah, Chris Carpenter's been great on the mound. He faces Corey Lytle in game 1 of a 3-game set. We're in St. Louis. It's the Reds and the Redbirds next on Fox Sports Net. Live from the gateway to the west, St. Louis, Fox Sports Net presents Cincinnati Reds baseball on this holiday weekend. Game 1 of a 3-game set. It's the Reds against the Redbirds. Hi, hello, and welcome to St. Louis, everybody. Along with the crafty left-hander Chris Welch, I'm George Grant. Some rain around the area. We're hopeful to get some baseball in. An important series for the Reds, Chris, as they face this Cardinal team in first place.
Well, an important series for the Reds, of course, that finishes up the series in Milwaukee at the end of the week before the All-Star break. But first things first, the St. Louis Cardinals, the top team in the division, here's your opportunity if you're a Reds member to go ahead and play these guys tough, beat them, and see if you can bring them back to the rest of the pack here in the Central.
One look at the standings in the Central Division will tell you why this is important. The Cardinals, fresh off their 11-1 record in interleague play, have a 3-game lead over the Cubs, who won last night. Cincinnati remains 5 games back. So Milwaukee's still in the hunt. They're 7 games back, and the Buccos, the Pirates, have won 9 straight. They're still in it too, and the Astros with their deals very much a very important part of it. Take a look at the first series between these two teams a couple of weeks ago. It was a series where the Cardinals jumped out on top early. Chris Carpenter pitched brilliantly in a game that the Reds lost 4-3 in 10. Corey Lytle pitched well too. 7 innings of 6-hit baseball, but a blown save was the difference. Griffey made a great catch, but Pujols did it, Chris, a homer.
Hey, he certainly did. He's a guy that you'd like to say a big circle around him in the lineup saying, don't let this guy beat you. A problem is the Cardinals have a number of players like that.
He won it with the home run in the 10th, 4-3. Jim Edmonds hit his 17th against the Reds. Pujols his 16th. In game 2, the Reds lost 9-2. Jason Isringhausen also got a 2-run single. The Cardinals won that one 9-2. Finally, in game 3, Bong pitched well. LaRue hit a 3-run homer. And how about Junior? It was the Griffey family day. Junior hit number 500.
Waited a long time for it, but boy, he rewarded everybody for it on Father's Day. Hit home run number 500. Ken Griffey Sr. was there. Mom was there. It was a happy Griffey family.
And it was a 6-0 win for the Reds in addition. So Cincinnati salvaged the final game of that series. A lot of love going around the ballpark. Griffey got 2 standing ovations. The Junior got hugs from everybody and got home run baseball number 500 as well. The story of Junior, not just that 500th home run, but also it's a resurgence. He's back and again a member of the All-Star team. Here's a look at the Reds All-Stars coming in. You know, Junior got voted on. Barry Larkin, Sean Casey, Danny Graves named too, Chris, a banner crew for the Reds.
You know, Sean Casey is so excited. He will not play in the All-Star game. He'll be there for the festivities, but he says, I can't believe I'm going to be on a team with all these other great players. Well, for instance, like Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Larkin, each making for the 12th time. That is some accomplishment.
Adam Dunn didn't make it. Paul Wilson didn't make it. Todd Jones, all deserving. We'll talk more about that as the day progresses. By the way, talking to pitching, let's check our G pitching matchup for today. It's a rematch. Corey Lytle against Chris Carpenter.
Yeah, a couple of the better pitchers on each staff going at each other. Corey Lytle really in his swing right now. Last 3 starts, he's 2-0. Earned run average under 2. Chris Carpenter, boy, he really throttled the Reds last time. Look for a big curveball from this big right-hander.
Whole lot to talk about, a lot of baseball to talk about as we head towards the All-Star break in this important series. Can the Reds come up with a W? All eyes are on St. Louis. It's the Reds and the Redbirds next on Fox Sports Net. Big day here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It is Bob Gibson bobblehead night, so you know the place is packed to watch this Cardinal team that's moved into first place. Albert Pujols heading to the All-Star game. May very well be the most valuable player in the league through the first half. Could be his teammate as well. Scott Rowland down at third. And there's Gibby, who was signing a bunch of bobbleheads for Tony La Russa and the rest of the Cardinals before the game. And you might imagine it's a festive occurrence here. The Cardinals in the midst of a 9-game homestand. The Reds starting a road trip. This is a Cardinal team that's firing on all cylinders.
Oh, they really are. You look at the lineup. They got Reggie Sanders batting way down the number 8 spot. So you have to figure that they are swinging the bats very well. Tony La Russa, he's a manager. Some say he's the best manager in the National League. 49-32 this year. He's got him in first place. And he took over first place on June 11th from the Cincinnati Reds.
And there's Gibby throwing out the first pitch. And, hey, he looks like he can still go out and get the job done, doesn't he? What a competitor. The Hall of Famer, elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1981, tossing it to Mike Matheny. And Gibson given a standing ovation here in St. Louis. This is Redbird country and Bob Gibson country as well. You know, the Cardinals don't have Bob Gibson pitching, but one of the reasons why they've played so well this year is their pitching has stayed healthy. Chris Carpenter, a pretty good example of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's not been healthy the last couple of years, but the Cardinals kind of signed him on the hope that he would have a big, healthy year this year. You wonder what he's going to do when he gets over about 100 or 150 innings, whether he's still going to be there down the stretch. But right now, he has thrown the ball extremely well. He's got 8 wins, only 3 losses, and he really throttled the Reds last time. This guy's got good stuff, good command. Welcome to the National League, another very fine pitcher.
Cardinals are in first place right now, largely on the strength of that 11-1 record in interleague play. The Reds during that same period were 5-7. But when the year started, the 2 teams that everybody talked about as being the favorites, beginning with the Chicago Cubs and Dusty Baker, because of the great pitching they had, you figured the Cubs would be there, but Chris, Wood, Pryor, Sosa, Grzelcyk, everybody's been on the disabled list for the first half of the year. Gonzalez too. So will they get healthy? Will they get better?
Well, injuries are the one thing that you can never predict. You can't predict how healthy you're going to be, and obviously even a team with a big payroll like the Chicago Cubs, you lose your frontline guys, you're going to lose a lot of production. A lot of those experienced guys that drive in runs down the stretch, very important there. What we thought would happen in this division, George, is happening. All the teams are really playing each other about 500 baseball. So it's really what you do outside of the division what may be the most important thing. You mentioned the Cardinals 11-1. That's the only reason that they're in first place right now in interleague play.
And they have the best record among these teams outside the division. The Reds, percentage-wise, have the best record inside the division. The rest of the standings in that Central Division include the Reds, 44-37 after being in first place during this interleague period. They dropped 5 games back. And the question is, will the Reds make a deal? It's a question and an answer that's still somewhat up in the air. Dan O'Brien has said they might do some tweaking, but you can't expect Cincinnati to spend a lot of money or trade a lot of players at this stage.
No, but I do expect to see some moves made, and probably some young pitchers who are now getting some experience down in AAA, like Brandon Clausen, Jun Kung Bong, who's throwing the ball extremely well again. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those younger arms coming up here in the second half.
The 2 surprises in the division. First, the surprise from the standings of the positive side is the Milwaukee Brewers. Ned Yost may be the manager of the year this year, the way he has done the job with his club. They've hung in there. They keep playing well. The Reds will play them after this series.
And I'll tell you what, they look like a team that's just going to get better and better each year. It's a young ball club that's got them playing the Ned Yost way he wanted to play. Took a couple of years for that program to finally fall into place. Boy, he's got them going good right now.
And in Houston, where they expect to make it to the postseason, Jimmy Williams has had injury problems of his own to deal with. They made a couple of deals. Beltran's in town. Hidalgo's out of town. David Weathers is in the bullpen. Health is a factor here. They need Andy Pettit to stay healthy in the second half.
Well, the guy that you see right there, Jimmy Williams, is on the hot seat. And if they don't make a run, if they continue to be down in that 4th or 3rd place, you're going to find Jimmy Williams looking for a job somewhere else. And because he's a guy that is expected to win this year, has never had a pennant-winning team, we'll just wonder if maybe this is the year for Jimmy Williams to have a breakout season. So far, it has not happened for the Astros.
Not many expected the Pirates to be winning this year. Lloyd McClendon has them on their best streak in years. They've won 9 straight baseball games, and their 9 straight will include 2 against the Reds, 3 against the Cardinals, 4 against Milwaukee. No, they probably won't win the division, but it's been a statement for the Buccos of late.
It's a team that nobody wants to play because they've got 4 starting pitchers that throw 95 miles an hour or better. They should be a lot better than they are. They're finally showing some wins, and look for the Pirates to have a good second half.
There's a peek at the division in the Central. 23 straight games the Reds will play against the Central Division beginning today. We've got a lot to talk about on this holiday weekend. Reds and the Redbirds coming up next after these messages. Let's check your Chevrolet starting lineup for Dave Miley and the Cincinnati Reds, who start the game 5 games back of the St. Louis Cardinals in the Central. Ryan Friel, 6-game hit streak, will lead it off. He's in the leadoff spot. He'll play left today because Dunn's going to be playing first with Casey on the disabled list. Barry Larkin heading to his 12th All-Star game will bat second. Switch hitting D'Angelo Jimenez behind him. Ken Griffey Jr. in the lineup. He scored the winning run for the Reds yesterday. Then Dunn, Willie Mopena, Javier Valentin the switch hitter. Castro's at 3rd hitting 8th, and Corey Lytle, the pitcher, will bat in the number 9 position. Lytle will pitch against the same guy he pitched against a few weeks ago here, a guy who's pitched brilliantly so far, Chris Carpenter.
Yeah, neither of those guys got a decision in that particular game. Carpenter would love to do the same thing he did against the Reds. 7 1/3 innings of 3-run baseball. Overall, he's been really a good innings eater for the Cardinals. 100 2/3 innings overall. He's only walked 22, so he's got good command. Strikeouts 80. He's given up 15 home runs, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along. But Carpenter, you talk to the Reds players, the Pontiac scatter report will tell you the same thing they do. He's got solid stuff, good command of that stuff. His best pitch is a curveball. He changes speeds on it, and it is a major yacker. But the unusual thing about Carpenter, he's given up more home runs to left-handers. I mean, a lot more than he has to right-handers. We'll get into that later on, but only 3 dingers against righties, 12 against lefties. So come on, lefties.
Chris Carpenter will always take a moment, close his eyes, collect himself. You just saw him do that. He's ready to deliver his first pitch. This young man out of New Hampshire, and since Pudge Fisk, maybe the best major league player ever to come out of the state of New Hampshire, Carpenter delivers to Ryan Friel against the Cards. This year Friel's hit pretty well. There's a looper into right. That's a base hit. So Ryan Friel will continue his hot hitting for Cincinnati. Yesterday against Cleveland had his second career high 4-game hit game, and now has a 7-game hit streak after that base hit. So the Reds get a runner on. Friel has stolen 14, and the Reds hope to get the running game going. Edgar Renteria, your 4 defensive alignment peak. Renteria, Roland, Pujols, all heading to the All-Star game. Cedeno, Edmund Sanders in the outfield. Mike Matheny behind the plate, Gold Glove caliber. So it's a all-star laden lineup for this Cardinal team, and a brilliant defensive team as well, as Barry Larkin steps in. Well, one of the reasons, Chris, why the Cardinals have been pitching better this year, when you put that defense behind you, it makes it a little easier to pitch, doesn't it?
You know, you just can't give a major league team extra outs in an inning. We've seen it work against the Reds and work for the Reds if they get some good plays behind them.
Larkin to right. Reggie Sanders, his former teammate under it, got it, and that's your first out of the inning.
What it looks like is that early on that the Reds are going to try to go after Carpenter early in the count. You know, last time it was kind of a feel their way through the start for Chris Carpenter, because many of these guys had not seen him before, with the exception of perhaps spring training. Well, now they know he's got good command, that he throws strikes, and you got to go up early in the count ready to swing the bat.
The numbers from Carpenter last time. Reds stranded 16 runners yesterday, still were able to miraculously come home with a victory thanks to a couple of errors and a clutch hitting job by Tim Hummel. Here's D'Angelo Jimenez in at 260 with Friel off first. That's strike 1, says Brian Gorman, the home plate umpire. Gorman behind the plate. Dale Scott at first. Ron Culpa at second. Bill Miller is your third base umpire in this crew in St. Louis today. 2 for 4 is the story for Jimenez. That's what he shoots for every time he takes to the field. He's been hot of late. A couple of home runs in the series against the Indians. The Reds finished interleague play 5-7, 2 games under 500. So you figure it out. The Reds were 2 games under 500 in interleague play. The Cardinals were 10 games over, 11-1. That's the difference, a lot of it in the standings where the Reds are right now. And you know, Chris, kind of reminds you a little bit of, remember 1999 when the Reds missed making the playoffs. They had to play the Indians twice when the Indians were big time during that period. And here it is, the Cardinals were playing St. Louis and Kansas City, while the Reds were playing some pretty tough interleague competition.
Well,
but
the
that's
Reds have
the draw.
nobody to blame but themselves for the losses that they had in Cleveland against the Indians. They had those games wrapped up pretty much and were able to give them away through the meltdown of the bullpen late in the ball game. So, you know, I hear managers complain all the time about the inequity of the interleague play and how the schedule favors one team over another. You know what? It all comes down to throwing the ball, catching the ball, hitting the ball, and doing it when you have to. And those clubs that end up on top are usually the ones that can do it the best.
Cardinals have been playing just good, solid baseball. They've won a lot of close games, and against the Pirates they were swept, first time in a long time that's happened. And the Buccos right now winning 9 straight are playing the same kind of baseball for the first time. They're winning close games.
They have got a good ball club, they were underachievers in the first half. As I said in the open, George, these guys look out, because they've got one of the best pitching staffs, if not the best, in the division.
Jimenez strikes out. That's strikeout number 1 for Carpenter. 1 on, 2 out. This combination, Carpenter on the mound, Matheny behind the plate, tough to run on. So Friel's gone nowhere. Here's the delivery by Carpenter on the outside corner. Waving at it is Jimenez, and there's your first strikeout for Carpenter. Here comes Junior. Last time he was here, he'll remember it for the rest of his life. Home run number 500 against the Cards this season. 300, a homer, number 500, and 3 runs batted in. And for his career, he's at 300 with 14 homers and 34 knocked in against St. Louis. He has faced Carpenter, of course, in the American League. Chris pitched for Toronto. He's 4 for 17 against him. Breaking ball drops in there for a strike.
Well, that curveball is a great get-ahead pitch, especially to an opposite-hitting hitter like Griffey is to the right-handed throwing Carpenter. Not too many hitters looking up there for that first pitch curveball, and they most likely take it every time.
A good throw might have had him in the dirt. Pujols tumbles over Friel, and Ryan is safely back on first. Matheny not afraid to throw behind, not afraid to take charge of a ball game. He is Gold Glove caliber, whether he wins it in any year or not.
I don't think it was a planned play ahead of time, although Pujols didn't go very far off the bag that time. Maybe with the left-handed hitting Ken Griffey Jr., he's going to stay closer to the line.
What'd the line judge call? Was that clipping?
Fair hit. Slide tackle. We'll go to another sport yet.
1 ball, 1 strike. Friel not going. Griffey on the inside corner for strike 1 and 2.
Boy, could not have liked that call. Thought it was down, thought it was in also.
Reds got in last night. Neither team able to take batting practice today. Boy, it poured this morning, and the sun's trying to peek through right now. The word we get is that there are some more storms approaching the area later on today, so the hope is that this proverbial window will allow us to get a baseball game in. It's been a rainy week for St. Louis. 2 of the 3 games interrupted by rain against Seattle this weekend. Dribble down to second. Womack got it. The Reds strand a runner in the first. We head to the bottom of 1. Corey Lytle goes to the mound. Junior goes to center. Womack goes to the bat rack for St. Louis. Chevrolet starting lineup for Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals. Scott Rowland, boy, has he had a big first half of the year, and in his last 10, in spite of a gimpy knee, left knee that's bothered him, he's .371, a homer, 7 knocked in. He's been brilliant all season. One of the major league leaders in runs batted in for the entire 3 months of this season. Womack leads it off. Great speed. Renteria, Pujols, and Rowland. Jimmy Edmonds, groin pull, but he's in center field. Roger Cedeno's hit well against the Reds, will be in left. Reggie Sanders, a former Red, is in right. Matheny behind the plate, and Carpenter on the mound. That's 1 through 9, your Chevrolet starting lineup. And here's Corey Lytle.
And this right-hander has put together 3 of his better performances of the year, back to back to back. One of those was against the St. Louis Cardinals when he was matched up against Chris Carpenter. Our Pontiac scouting report on Lytle: spots his fastball, mixes his speeds on his curve and his changeup, and he's a guy with good control, so you expect him to pitch to the scouting report. And it's not always the blanket scouting report that the Reds receive from the advanced scout. He's got his own scouting report that he keeps on players, and he and Valentin have gone a long way to make sure that they get it right and they're precise about how to go about getting these hitters out.
Here's Tony Womack. You see his season numbers: .385 against Cincinnati. For his career, Womack .295. In fact, this whole Cardinal lineup has hit well against Cincinnati. I mean, you go down at Womack .295, Renteria .309, Pujols .385, Rowland .314, Cedeno .310, so on and so on and so on. They've all hit well against Cincinnati in their careers. Womack, the speed burner, slaps at it, fouls it off. And this isn't the running Redbirds of Whitey Herzog, Chris, but this is a team, you get on base, they'll burn you. They lead the league with 57 stolen bases coming in. So the running game, very much an important part of the Cardinals, not just stealing bases, but going first to third, scoring on base hits from second as well. Speed, an important part of this Cardinal team.
Well, they're an experienced team, and they've been fortunate with from the injury bug standpoint most of the year. And they've got guys, you know, who can steal, like Womack, who is a base stealer, but the rest of the guys are just good base runners. And those are the most dangerous kind. They catch you when you're napping.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Womack. Down to first, Dunn scoops it, taps the bag, and there's 1 away. You know Sean Casey's story. Casey not on this trip because he's on the disabled list. Barry Larkin is, and Larkin heading to his 12th All-Star game at short. 5-time starter, 12 times named an All-Star. Only 1 error this season at shortstop for the Reds captain. Castro at third, Jimenez at second, Dunn's over at first. That means Friel will be in left, Griffey in center, William Opeña in right, and Valentin behind the plate. That is your 4 defensive alignment for the Reds today. 1 away, here's Renteria. Edgar voted on the All-Star team in a close ballot with Adam Everett, the shortstop of the Houston Astros. Jack Wilson will make it. Larkin makes it. Renteria makes it. And justice is served. Jack Wilson deserves to be an all-star. He's had a brilliant first half, both defensively and offensively. Among those who make it, smiles. Among those who don't, frowns. Adam Dunn, in spite of being second in the league in homers, does not make it. For the Reds, Paul Wilson certainly deserving. And really, we talked about it the last couple of days, Chris. You know, a Todd Jones who's pitched brilliantly. Middle relievers hardly ever make it. You know, Joe Torre did name Tom Gordon, who was a great setup man for him. And it happens infrequently that a middle reliever or setup guy will make it. Jones has pitched great for the Reds this year.
Well, Joe Torre has had a long history of course, being number one, the all-star manager, because of his success with the Yankees, but also taking care of his own players, naming guys out there. So even a middle reliever like Tom Gordon, who is deserving, finally gets some justice right there.
6 Yankees going to the American League squad. Down to third, Castro. Got him. Makes a tough play look easy, doesn't he?
You've really got to love the way that Juan Castro is playing right now. We've all seen him defensively play superlative baseball. Just great glove work he'll show you every time. And it doesn't matter where you put him, second, short, or third. But he's also swinging the bat big time right now. He is really reveling in playing on a more regular basis. And I think that's one reason why you're seeing him play much better.
Castro makes the play at third, and here's Albert Pujols in at 303, 21 homers, 57 knocked in. And you can take your pick if you're taking an MVP vote for the first half of the season. Could be Pujols, could be the guy right behind him, Scott Rowland. They both have had brilliant first halves for this Cardinal club. Albert against the Reds for his career 385, 16 homers, 47 knocked in. 1 for 5 against Corey Lytle in his career. Line right center field. He tagged it pretty good. Is it high enough? It is off the wall. Pujols will steam into second. He'll hold up there with a 2-base hit. Albert's in scoring position. Like a hitting machine, huh?
Boy, you know, he's a guy that simply does not allow a pitcher to get away with a mistake, and that's a mistake pitch. You see Jason LaRue, he's set up, or Javier Valentin is set up low and away. That ball pretty much right down the middle. And instead of fouling it back or hitting a ground ball or popping it up, more likely than not, Albert Pujols puts the screws to it, and he does it again right there with a line drive in the right center gap.
Already got a career total, season total of doubles, doesn't he? 25 on the year. Here's Rowland, 344, 18 homers, and 78 knocked in for Scott Rowland. Leads the majors with those 78 runs batted in. And with runners in scoring position, he's been over 400 all year, and he's got one out there in Pujols now. In spite of a knee that's bothered him somewhat, he started 79 of the Cardinals' 82 games so far, as the Redbirds are at the halfway point of the season, just like the Reds. Just missed that one as Lytle evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. He's all told over 400 with runners in scoring position, and with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, just under 400. Lytle from the stretch. Hardy on the fastball, and it's 1-2. Just missing wide. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Corey Lytle tries to continue a trend for him throughout his career that it's produced better baseball in the second half than in the first half, wherever he's been. He pitches better second half of the season, July on, and the Reds are hoping that'll be the story in 2004 as well. Here's the 2-2. Line to right. Willie Moe there, and he's got it. Good break by Pena on a ball that hung up long enough for him to get there. A Pujols double, nothing to show for it. To run extra miles away from ordinary. Let's go back to 1986 on this date, Chris. Remember it? Bing, bang, bong.
Well, Welch has got one. A home run to right field for Chris Welch.
All pitchers remember their hitting.
First Red pitcher this season to hit a home run, and he got it a bunt.
Pitched pretty well that day, too, didn't you?
Kind of a rare complete game. Got good defense behind me, which is always the key. Davey Concepcion, Buddy Bell, man, a lot of ground balls down there on the left side of the infield.
Get him to hit it to the right people. That's the key to success, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Here's Dunn, fly ball, right center. Here comes Edmonds. He's got it. Adam Dunn's retired. That's a home run trot, huh?
You know, I look back on this tape, George, and the thing that excites me the most, the guy that's waiting for me at home plate is Pete Rose. Hands me the jacket. Of course, it's about 95 degrees in Philadelphia on July the 5th, but he's there with a jacket, and you know, that's kind of a special memory. Just having played on the same team as Rose, nonetheless having hit a home run right before him.
Remember what he said to you?
Not go out and throw up a zero on the board. He didn't want me to give up any runs.
He said, remember, you got to turn left at every base, right? Well, Griffey got his 500th here. You'll remember your first here. Womack. Oh, not in time. Carpenter says he's on the bag. Dale Scott says, the foot got there first. Pena's speed beats this one out.
They're going to give him a base hit on this. Willie Moe Pena hustling down the line. This is not an easy play because when a pitcher covers first base, the most times they practice it is from the first baseman. That's a longer throw by the second baseman. Womack pulls Carpenter off the bag a little bit, and because of that, Willie Moe Pena is able to reach base on an infield single.
Carpenter argued that his foot touched the bag. It looked like the way Scott was pointing was saying that when your foot came down, it didn't hit the bag, then you hit the bag. But it looked like the ball did arrive before him. In any event, Willie Moe's on. Reds have their second base runner, second hit. Here's Javier Valentin. That's wide for a ball. Valentin in at 174, 3 homers and 10 knocked in. Valentin figures, at least for the short term, to get a little more time pinch hitting and in a backup first base role. That's foul. Corky Miller rejoined the Reds. Miller with Casey put on the disabled list. Sean will be on the DL till the All-Star break, and while it's generally assumed that Sean will not play in the All-Star game, that's really not finalized yet. It'll be Casey's decision as he gets to next weekend. If they tell him that, you know, we only need you for a pinch hit, then he'll play if he feels better next week. But it's to be decided as the week progresses and he continues to rehab. But he will go to Houston in any event. So Corky Miller back as a backup catcher. Valentin can be used more as a pinch hitter, and that gives Dave Miley a little bit of room to wiggle now, Chris, because you got a switch hitting guy that can come off the bench for you.
This is really a guy that they love to have get some playing time and start swinging the bat like he's a little more capable of doing. He's hitting only $170 right now, but Valentin is hitting the ball a lot harder than that indicates. They love to see him swing the bat a little bit more, maybe get some more playing time.
From the stretch is Carpenter. Pena not going. That's fouled off. If he's your number 2 catcher, you can't really use him as a pinch hitter because something happens to LaRue and LaRue's in the game, you're dead. Now with 3 catchers, it gives you more leeway. And
I don't think you lose anything. You may even gain something defensively with Corky Miller back there, where the way he receives the game and manages the pitchers. He does a very good job.
LaRue had a big 3-run homer in the Reds' final game victory in the last 3-game series here a few weeks ago. He's sitting to start today. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Valentin.
Valentin yesterday, in my estimation anyway, George, had the biggest hit of that comeback against the Cardinals. That ball that he hit, the double in the inning that they tied the game up, was the biggest hit of the game. The Reds wouldn't be in it had it not been for him. With a homestand that started ugly, the Reds won the final 2 to make it respectable.
That's a ground ball picked by Womack. He'll get the out at first. Well, he saved a base runner. Beautiful play by Womack. And the Reds will have a runner in scoring position.
Boy, Tony Womack has what they would call closing speed. I mean, that ball looked like it was headed into right field, no doubt. Base hit for Valentine. Womack just put on a little bit extra burst at the last moment and was able to put a glove on it. You make one play like that an inning, and instead of having first and third and one out, now you've got a guy on second base and 2 outs. It changes the composition of the entire inning.
So Womack brilliantly executes that. Pena's on second, and here's Castro with 2 away now. And the pitcher Lytle on deck. Sky to center field. Edmonds playing shallow under it. He's got it. That'll do it. So the Reds get another base runner. Nothing to show for it. They've stranded 2 through 2. Edmonds goes to the bat. Reds and the Redbirds. Corey Lytle going to work as we go to the bottom of 2. Edmonds, Cedeno, and Reggie Sanders due up. Critical road trip for the Reds. Here's St. Louis for 3, then 4 in Milwaukee heading to the All-Star break. And not just the men in this clubhouse, but the Reds organization at the end of this coming week will have possibly a better clue as to what direction this team is going. Reds could be 10 out or near first place. Here's Edmonds swinging and fouling it off for strike 1. Jim in at 274, 16 homers, 50 knocked in. In his career, some big home runs against the Reds. 17 homers and 44 knocked in against Cincinnati. Edmonds been battling a groin pull. He's had a couple of nagging injuries this year. And he's one of those guys, Chris, you know, we talk about Pujols, you talk about Roland, but when he gets hot, he can carry a team for a week. He hasn't hit that stretch yet this year. The rest of the Central is hoping he doesn't. 0-2. This day and age of a lot of mechanics and shifting momentum at the plate. Edmonds a throwback, big wide stance, just a body shift, someone like Jeff Bagwell, but in a different way.
You know, you look at Jim Edmonds and that stance, you wonder how he gets any power, but what he does, he's able really to keep his weight back, use his hands, yes, but still use his legs. And he'll drive that ball in left center field. That's where most of his power is. He loves to hit the breaking ball and go the other way with it.
And the other side of it is you can see with that stance why any kind of a groin twinge certainly can affect him offensively, because he puts so much pressure on the abdominal muscles in the groin area with the wide stance.
I think anytime you're, of course, when you're an outfielder, your legs are everything for you, but especially when you hit like Jim Edmonds. It doesn't really matter what kind of swing you have, what kind of stance you have. Your swing starts in your feet. That's where the balance begins.
2-2 line foul past Dave McKay, the first base coach for the Cardinals. McKay came over with Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan from Oakland. Down at third, Jose Oquindo. The secret weapon of Whitey Herzog, his extra player. There's McKay, there's Oquindo. A lot of folks think that guy right down there will be a major league manager someday.
Boy, Corey thought he had that one. Thought he painted it perfectly on the inside corner with a little comeback 2-seam fastball.
3-2.
That's the 2-seam grip. You know, interesting because the Reds will get a scouting report from their advanced scout, usually Gene Bennett, on the road to do that, but then they'll also refine it from what they see in computer. Nick Kroll, who runs a computer shop back at Great American Ballpark, he logs every at bat by every major leaguer, whether it was a ball, a strike, where it was hit, and you can call those up on a video database. And Lytle does a lot of that work. He looks at the teams he's going to pitch against and sees exactly where other teams have been successful. And what he has found out about Jim Edmonds is that you think you can get him out upstairs, you better keep it down around the knees or below. This time he works him for a walk.
Leadoff walk here in the second. Hey, the big dog, Tony Perez, has signed 500 autographed baseball for fans on Saturday, July 17th during Banquet Kroger Tony Perez Autographed Baseball Day. First 10,000 fans in the park receive a Tony Perez scratch-off baseball card. 500 lucky scratch-off winners receive a Tony autographed baseball. Don't miss your chance to see Albert Pujols, the division rival Redbirds. That's next weekend during Banquet Kroger Tony Perez Autographed Baseball Day on Saturday the 17th. Reds play the Redbirds here for the second time in a month in St. Louis. Then right after the All-Star break, we'll open up the series in the second half against the Redbirds again. Here's Cedeno, 267, 2 homers, 6 knocked in. That's a dribbler. It'll go through into right. Edmonds will hold at second. Well, Cedeno continues his good hitting against Lytle in his career. Cedeno now 5 for 7 against Corey Lytle. 2 on, no one out, and here's Reggie Sanders.
You know, there is no part of this Cardinal lineup that is not a dangerous part of the lineup. You get Reggie Sanders, who's got 42 runs batted in, 14 home runs, sandwiched down the number 7 spot. So you've got to be careful wherever you are, and you can rest assured that he's up there swinging the bat right now, not going to advance the runners via the bunt. So maybe you can get Sanders into a double play if you make a good pitch on him.
Here's Reggie, the former Red. 2 on, no one out. Matheny on deck. Fly ball hitter. Lytle trying to coax a ground ball out of him so that the Reds can turn 2 and short circuit this rally.
You know, a lot of times how pitchers pitch to you dictate whether you're a fly ball hitter or a ground ball hitter. Reggie Sanders, the book is pitch him up and pitch him in. Well, usually if you get a ball up, hitters are going to sky that ball in one way or another. Either they're going to pop it up or they're going to drive it somewhere. If you keep the ball down around the knees, most guys are going to hit it on the ground. So maybe one reason why Reggie's a fly ball hitter is because people want to pitch him up and they want to pitch him in.
Down and away for a ball, 1-1. That's a strike.
Now there's the split finger grip that Corey Lytle will put on the ball every time he pitches out of the stress position. It's a lot easier to go from that grip to a fastball or a curveball than it is from a fastball grip to a split finger pitch. So you don't want to give it up to the hitter, so you're always ready, the toughest one to grip.
In the dirt, good block by Valentine.
And that time he did not change it. That's the action of a splitter or a forkball.
Only those pitchers that have big hand. You recall Bruce Sutter and Jose De Leon, who threw the split finger here, had big, gigantic hands. You never really saw when they would move the ball around. You got smaller hands, makes sense to do it the way Lytle does.
Yeah, you know, you can train your fingers to spread apart like that. I mean, if you sit on it in the bench in the dugout for hours and hours and months and just press that ball back between your fingers, but you just don't want to give it away when it's coming.
Dribbled out in front. Here comes Castro. Quick flip. They get the out. Both runners advance.
Well, a good idea by Corey Lytle to let Juan Castro field that ball. He had a notion when he came off the mound that he was going to be able to field it and maybe turn to first base. Here comes Lytle. Then he finally pulls up and says, I think I'll let Golden Hands take care of it. It's routine for Juan Castro.
So here comes Matheny, the 8th hitter in the lineup, with now runners at second and third and 1 out. The pitcher Carpenter due up next. When the Reds played the Cardinals last time, Matheny had just come off the disabled list. Since coming off, the average starting to climb back up to 253. 2 homers and 23 knocked in. Down to third. Castro will come to the plate and they'll get the out. Brilliant play by Castro on a tricky hop, and going on contact, the runner Edmonds nailed at the plate.
You know, I for the life of me don't know why teams do this, why they run on contact like that. If it's hit to the third baseman, if it goes back to the third baseman or the pitcher, you're going to be out at home. All it takes is a Class D knothole throw to the catcher to get the guy out, and Edmonds is out by a long shot. Not only that, so you lose a runner at third base, and you lose him against a pitcher who throws a split finger pitch, and that's a pitch that's always got a chance of getting away from the catcher and scoring a run on a wild pitch.
Well, already we've played not even 2 innings of baseball. Juan Castro's made 3 fine plays, and in this inning he may have saved the Reds a run. So first and second, here's the pitcher Carpenter up. Now, you don't know till the game is over. You talk, Chris, so often we talk about strategy, and sometimes it depends on the individual player who's sitting at third. You may have go on contact except to third, and they may think, well, the ball was going to short. You don't know till the game is over. But you're right. Over the course of a year, probably contact plays result in more outs than scores.
And if they result in outs at the most important base, and that's home. If that ball gets by the third baseman, you can dance backwards home. So you don't have to get a good jump on it. You just have to make sure that it doesn't go to the third baseman or the pitcher.
Is that why Jimmy Pearsall rounded the bases backwards? I was always wondering why.
I didn't get to talk to him after the game.
Bouncer down to second. Jimenez has it over to Dunn. Good job by Lytle, thanks to his buddy over at third. Castro, 2 brilliant plays. We're still scoreless going to the third. Lytle leads it off.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Great to have you back here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Castro's fine play, getting Edmonds at the plate. Let's take a look at Jim Edmonds off third at the crack of the bat. Listen. He's peeking at third. Looks like he's thinking the ball might be going to short.
Well, if it goes to short, you still have some time to make up your mind to do that. And if it goes, of course, into the outfield, there's no problem at all. Good play by Juan Castro. Don't mean to take anything away from Castro on that, because it was a short hop play that he made. But boy, you love to see your team throw another runner out at the plate. It just kind of builds that extra special momentum.
Here's Lytle tied with Paul Wilson for the hitting lead among Reds pitchers. Each of them have 4. Hey, the good news folks from Domino's have more great news for you. They've come up with another great special for Reds fans called Domino's Now. Ask for the new 5-5-5 deal. For a limited time, you can enjoy 3 medium 1-topping pizzas for as little as $5 each. I was wondering why Jesse Jackson was smiling as he handed us that card. 3 pizzas for $5 each. Yes, that makes his day.
It's really a coupon, and he wants it back.
Strikeout for Carpenter, his second of the ball game. Hey, don't forget, you can score with Pick 4. Log on to foxsportsnetohio.com for this, once again, one of the best promos of the year. You can win tickets to any U.S. sporting event of your choice. Ohio Lottery and Fox Sports Net giving you the chance to win a trip for 2 to any U.S. sporting event of your choice in 2005, including hotel accommodations, airfare, even tickets. Just log on to fsnohio.com for more information and score with Pick 4. We got score with Pick 4, but for the young man who caught the 500th home run ball of Ken Griffey Jr., he already scored. Presented on the return of Junior to St. Louis, he was presented with 4 tickets to the All-Star game, airfare, hotel accommodations, tickets to the Fan Fest, and Junior's way of saying thank you to a guy who didn't ask for anything. He got a lot, but he didn't ask for anything when he gave the ball back to Junior. There is still a thread of special reaction to those kind of momentums. Here is a list, Chris, that what Mark Crumley will get from Junior, and I know you were trying to get some of those too, weren't you?
And after Junior just fulfills a few more pages of these requests, he'll get the ball, right? I mean, this is pretty nice, actually. Round trip tickets to the All-Star game, box seats to the All-Star Home Run Derby, shagging the outfield during the Home Run Derby. Now, that's something you can't get as an ordinary fan, I guarantee you that. Hotel accommodations and more tickets to the Fan Fest. So Junior and company taking care of Mr. Crumley, who caught that baseball.
Nice job, Junior, and thanks, Mark, too, because in this day and age when people ask for telephone number figures for souvenir baseballs, he did it the right way. Give him credit. Friel 2 for 2. He's sitting down at first. He did not try to steal first time up. Larkin trying to punch the ball to the right side. 1 strike to him. Friel not going. Barry holds on the breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. On the surface, you look at what the Cardinals have done. You say they've done it with big bats. They're #1 in the league offensively. They come in with a .275 average. That's almost 25 points better than the Reds, who are 14th. But they've also done it with little ball. They've sent runners. They've hit and run. They've done the little things, and the Reds trying to do it here. There goes Friel. Larkin fouls it off. 1-2.
You know, we wondered, George, off the air after the first inning why the Reds didn't try to pressure the Cardinals a little bit. You know, you get into a ballpark which is a very tough place to win. The Cardinals have not lost a home series here since late April, so that's more than 2 months that they've won 2 out of 3 of every 3-game series, and at least split a 4-game series here. So this is a tough place for a visiting team to win, and you get a big crowd like you do today on Bob Gibson bobblehead night or bobblehead day, and I'll tell you what, you need to put the pressure on them early on. That means seeing if you can't get the scoring position. Not this time.
That's a bouncer. They go 4-6-3, double play. 80th double play for the Redbirds this year, erasing the Reds base runner. Here we go to the box. Direct moment. Pitching coach Don Gullett talking about Corey Lytle of late.
Well, I think Corey, the last 3 times out, has thrown the ball away the way that we had got accustomed to early on, and certainly a very capable individual that really knows how to pitch and change speeds out there. And it's all about you know, hitting his spot and getting ahead of the hitters. And we're looking for Corey to continue on that role and throw the ball well. And you know, Aaron Harang, the last couple starts after coming back on the DL, I think he's gone 11 innings and given up 1 run. So he's back to form, and obviously we hope that we can continue that.
Our Geico direct moment. Chris, good formula. Keep the ball down, get ahead.
It works for a whole bunch of guys. A lot of those are enshrined in Cooperstown. And, you know, get ahead, change speeds, throw strikes, work fast, all those things in combination with good stuff. And I think Corey Lytle has good stuff, meaning that he can command his fastball, throw it to different parts of the strike zone, and change speeds on his breaking ball and throw his breaking ball for a strike when he needs it. I mean, you don't have to be overpowering. You just have to have some guts and be able to throw the ball where you want to.
1-2 to Tony Womack. Bounced to first, his first time up. Cardinals have taken over first place for a lot of reasons. Offensively, they've played well. Defensively, they have. And a big part of this whole package is number 4 right there. Didn't have a team in December. Signed as a free agent after undergoing elbow surgery in the offseason. A lot of folks wondered whether he'd be able to play this year. Cardinals took a flyer on him, and boy, has he paid big time dividends. He's had a great first half, hitting over 300, and you saw the play he made earlier. The elbow's doing fine, and as he tells us, it's getting stronger and stronger week by week. A number of teams, Reds included, did talk to him in the offseason, and I think most of the teams, the 3 teams that he did talk to in addition to St. Louis that I've talked to, their general manager said all the same thing, that they thought Womack's plan from the beginning was to end up here in St. Louis. He thought with Fernando Vina leaving, most general managers felt that Womack was trying to direct it to come here, and that's a pretty smart guy because he's in the right place, isn't he?
I'll tell you what, he's also on a ball club that likes veterans.
Long throw by Larkin, won't get there in time. Nice play by Barry, but with Womack's speed, no way you're going to get him. Infield hit for Womack.
And that's why Tony Womack is a good fit here. You know, Tony La Russa is a guy, he's a veteran manager, and he likes veteran ball players. And this is a pennant contending team, no doubt about it. Nice play by Larkin, but anybody else maybe besides Womack, and you've got a lot better chance of throwing him out at first.
Good effort by the 12-time All-Star Larkin. So it's a leadoff hitter on for the Cardinals for the second straight inning. And here's Renteria. Great hit and run guy is Renteria. Good speed at first. We'll see what La Russa does. Might the runner be in motion? Renteria handles the right side of the infield as well as anybody. You can pitch him in, he'll still find a way to inside out it into right field. He bounced to third first time up. And the big guys due up next, Pujols and Rolen. Womack not going. There's a liner caught by Jimenez, and he'll turn it into two. I don't know if it did deflect off the glove or not of Lytle, but it sure came close, and a good job by Renteria, by Jimenez, who Chris was shading towards the bag for two.
You know, your first reaction as a pitcher is get your head out of the way. Your second reaction is get your glove up. He does that in that order, but fortunately for Corey Lytle and the Reds, the ball goes on one hop to D'Angelo Jimenez, who's tucked a little bit tight towards second base anyway, anticipating a ground ball on a double play, and he gets exactly that. 4 unassisted, over to 3.
Well, the Cardinals are the team with all the Gold Gloves, but the Reds have come up with the Gold Glove plays so far. And Jimenez comes up with a dandy. Came up with 3 fine plays this weekend against Cleveland. That play starts to the 70th double play for the Reds this year. There's a base hit into left, and that saves the Reds a run right there. Pujols off and at it again. He's 2 for 2, a single and a double. And now here's the summer takeoff upcoming schedule, brought to you by AmeriSuites and Wellesley Inns and Suites. For summer takeoff details on how you can stay at any AmeriSuites or Wellesley Inns and Suites and receive $100 off any airline ticket anytime, visit summertakeoff.com. Full slate, huh? 2 more here in St. Louis, then 4 in Milwaukee. Then the All-Star break coming up. You driving to Milwaukee, Chris?
Negative on that one. I'm hoping the Delta can finally get a plane that works to set me there on time.
Beautiful drive from Cincinnati to St. Louis.
Well, yeah, when they tell you in the middle of the night your plane's canceled. That's a story for another program.
Joys of air travel, huh?
I'll be writing a letter later today.
See, now you drove because you had to. Mark Goldsmith drives because he loves to.
The love of the road.
That's
how about
right.
that?
Rolling, rolling, rolling. And here is Scott Rolling.
Solitary adventurer.
That's a Neil Diamond song, isn't it? Oh, no, that's Solitary Man. Popped up. Lytle saying he'll take it, and he does. Good job by Lytle. Defense again saves the Reds from a run scoring against them. We're still scoreless. Heading to the 4th. Get set, go. Reds calling all runners and walkers to be part of the 2004 Redlegs Run for Home. This 5K run and walk Sunday, August the 8th at 8 a.m. Race starts at Great American Ballpark, loops through downtown, finishes inside the ballpark. Register online at signmeupsports.com. All proceeds benefit the Cincinnati Reds Community Fund. Pitching and defense, a great combination so far. That's kept this game scoreless. Here's D'Angelo Jimenez. Griffey Dunn due to follow. Big curveball drops in there. Jimenez struck out first time up. 2 punch outs for Carpenter, who pitched well against the Reds last time up last month. 7 1/3 innings, 6 hits and 3 runs allowed. He and Lytle each left the ball game with a no decision. Lytle had the lead, but the Reds bullpen blew it. Cardinals won it in 10, 4-3. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 3 for Carpenter, and here comes Griffey. Time for our Aflac trivia question for today. Who was the first Reds player ever selected to an All-Star game? The first Reds player ever selected to an All-Star game. We've had some ones that are reachable, Chris. I don't think this is a reachable one.
So when was the first All-Star game?
Mid-30s, 34, 33.
34, 37, yeah.
Arch Ward in Chicago, the first All-Star game.
So I presume that the first Reds selected for an all-star game happened to be back in 33.
Not necessarily. Breaking ball in there for a strike.
Well, you can tell the junior's really looking for a piece of cheese off of Chris Carpenter, and he's not getting it. Carpenter getting ahead in both of these at-bats with the slow stuff early on. Well, what a weapon when you can throw that curveball early in the count to get ahead of a hitter like Ken Griffey Jr. And then from there, you just try to expand the strike zone a little bit. You tease the hitter just off the plate, down and away, just off the plate, up and away. You come in for effect and you go back out there.
Griffey slaps it foul down the right field line.
Tell you what, George, the rain that came through here earlier, which was a torrential rain, they had all sorts of warnings and thunderstorm warnings. It cooled the day off. It was supposed to be 92 degrees here with a 100-degree heat index. It's very pleasant here for July in St. Louis.
Where were you at 8:40 this morning? This was the way the ballpark looked. Our crew got here to try to get things going, and it looked like the arc was about ready to pull up the river. Griffey pops it to the left side, heading towards the seats. It'll be out of play. The one good thing about this ballpark that, you know, with the renovations, a lot of good things happen, but the field drains marvelously well with the reconfigured field here at Busch. And you know about the story here in St. Louis. They've started a $600 million private public funded project that'll put a new ballpark here in 3 years. And
how's that work?
That'll be right outside the right field area across the street. So for the next 2 years, it'll be very similar to what we went through in Cincinnati. They'll be tearing things down and getting ready for a new park. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Junior. Hit hard. Another fine play by Womack robs Griffey of a hit. 2 away.
Boy, Tony Womack showing some serious leather today. It looks like he just threw his glove out there and the ball went right in there. He had a diving stop earlier to get an out at first base, and this time he robs Ken Griffey Jr. Nice play right there. So, George, how does is it a privately funded stadium or privately and publicly funded, and how did it work?
There's some public funding, but the private part of it is the business side that the Cardinals have put together. And I mean, it's taken them 4 years to get something passed between the legislature, locally and statewide. Very difficult to, you know, part of what you're looking at is this park looks great, doesn't it? So
absolutely,
people come in here and say, why do you need a new park? And it's not the way the park looks. It's the luxury boxes and the ability to generate revenue. Cardinals have said right along that they needed a new ballpark, and with the money spent, over $30 million in renovations in recent years, they've made this park still so comfortable that legislators and others think, why do we need a new one?
Well, the upkeep here is tremendous. I mean, it's only second only really to Dodger Stadium as far as keeping a place up. It's not like Riverfront Synergy Field when, you know, you walked in there the last couple of years and you kind of looked above you, make sure there weren't any pieces of concrete ready to fall on you. But here, it's a beautiful ballpark. The clubhouses are plenty spacious and roomy, and it's be sad one to see this go.
Yeah. You know, I think from a ownership standpoint, ownership always loves to do parks because of revenue, luxury boxes and the like, but baseball folks have always loved it on this field. Dunn strikes out. Reds go 1-2-3, 2 punch outs, 4 strikeouts for Carpenter. We're going to the bottom of 4. Edmonds, who walked last time up, will lead it off. Zip, zip, scoreless baseball so far. Reds and the Redbirds go to the bottom of 4. Corey Lytle will deal with Edmund Cedeno and Reggie Sanders, 5, 6, and 7. Workmanlike, professional, and he's given the Reds good starting performances thus far in 2004. Here's Edmonds, who walked on a 3-2 pitch back in the second. The 35-year-old center fielder, a 6-time Gold Glover in his own right and an outstanding offensive player. Boy, remember last year what a start he got off to. Injuries kind of nipped at him in the second half. But he was, we talk about Sean Casey right now, who's been around 350, 360. That's where Edmonds was all the first half of last year. He was hitting bullets everywhere. Originally a California Angel draft pick. And you talk about deals made before the trading deadline and deals that helped the club. If you were to look at the last 6-7 years, no team has benefited more from in-season acquisitions, I think, than the Cardinals. You know, the McGuire deal, the Edmonds deal. And you wonder who will make that deal in the next 3 weeks here in the National League.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, we've talked about all the different responsibilities a field manager has to the media, to the players, you know, strategizing the ball game. Well, a general manager wears a number of different hats as well. You have to organize your own organization, you know, from a scouting standpoint and everything else. They got to get him.
Valentine guns, and he gets it there in time. Good job by Dunn. Well, I tell you, Chris, you know, he's not a first baseman, but little by little he's getting better and better. Right footwork, right positioning, scoops it well. Adam Dunn gets the toss from Valentine, who didn't quit on that one.
Looked like one of those nasty splitters in the dirt. Adam Dunn at the other end, giving a big target down there to Javier Valentine, and he scoops it right out of the dirt. Now, that was a curveball right there that just simply bit in the dirt and spun away from Valentine. We don't see this play very often.
Throw one away, and here's Cedeno. Single back in the second, 1 for 1. Jammed him, and Jimenez has it. Time for Aflac trivia answer. Who was the Reds' first All-Star? You'd probably guess Ernie Lombardi, right? Because he was a perennial All-Star during the 30s, but it's the big chicker. 1933, first year of the All-Star game. 34, no Reds were selected. Then Lombardi started his All-Star run. 36, 37, and 38, 39, 40 for the Reds. Back in those days, the likes of Paul Derringer, Johnny Vandermeer were perennial All-Stars. Bucky Walters too. Sanders, is it staying fair? It's curving, it's going, it is foul. But boy, not by much.
Boy, that was a hard one to call right there because it was hooking hard. Reggie got out ahead of this ball a little bit, really didn't get it all that great, and he's kind of going to stand there saying, all right, what's it going to do? Fair, foul, fair, foul.
And he's still not sure. He kept looking at that pole.
You know, getting back to our discussion about the general managers, you know, you get your own organization in line, you get the people that you want, and then you start the deal. And if your team needs something, if you've got a piece of the puzzle that is missing that you need, you know, immediate attention, that's what the other general manager has done. I'll tell you, and Walt Jocketty in his days here as a St. Louis Cardinal manager has done one of the best jobs around in filling those needs for his team at the moment.
I mean, look, we talk about McGuire, you talk about Edmonds early in the season, and of course the Roland deal was, you know, your right place, right time. Philadelphia knew they had to make a deal, and Cardinals picked him up. And just like McGuire, Roland at the end of the year when they could have been free agents opted to stay in St. Louis because of the great experience and the great baseball town that this is. And that's part of the question mark this year. Will Beltran stay in Houston? Who knows? I mean, people shied away from making a deal for Beltran because he's a Scott Boras player, and usually Boras players opt for free agency, don't stay. Knowing Beltran, you think he might be a little different. He's a quiet guy, loves the scene. The question is, will Houston have the money to keep him?
Well, the other question is, will Houston win? If Houston wins and he gets a taste of postseason and he gets a taste of the World Series and what it's like to be around an atmosphere like that, you know, at some point he'll say, you know what, I think we have a chance to do a little repeat here. Maybe I'll come back, and he may take a little bit of a discount to do so.
There are times when a deal can save a franchise. I think the Randy Johnson deal in Houston saved that team because Johnson's presence the second half of the year really gave them the impetus to get the new ballpark. Without Randy Johnson, they might not have gotten their new ballpark. Nub to Lytle. He double dribbles it, but still comes up to make the play. Reggie stumbles over the bag. It looks like he's okay. Lytle does the job. Long foul for Reggie. Nothing to show for it. Pena leads the show period presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. It's a look back at some of the best moments from the past. Lakers point guard Gary Payton drops by to talk about that team's future. Plus, we'll talk some football as well. Buccaneers defensive end Simeon Rice talks about his club. Catch the best sports show period tonight at 8:30 and 11 only on Fox Sports Net. Here's William O. Pena. Javier Valentin and Castro to follow. 6, 7, and 8 for Cincinnati. Darn good pitchers duel so far with some good defense to boot. Pena reached on an infield hit first time up. Blooped into center. Late break for Edmonds, but he plays shallow there to make the catch. Edmonds, Andrew Jones, brilliant defensive center fielders very often do play shallow. He does. There to make the catch, and there's one away. The 6-time Gold Glover hauls that one in. Here's Valentin, robbed of a hit by Womack back in the second inning. McCluskey Chevrolet, home of the quick credit guarantee. One click, one call, one number can do it all. 761-1111.com. McCluskey Chevrolet. We say the All-Star team and their final selections. There still is one more slot on each All-Star team. That's the fan ballot, which will take place online. And I'm not sure whether we hear the next day. I think tomorrow we hear who's going to be on that list. The next couple of days we'll hear. They'll have one last spot to be selected. And there are some National League players certainly deserving. Adam Dunn, the Reds power hitting outfielder, first baseman, one of them. Bobby Abreu, another one. This one looped to left. Cedeno under it. He's got it. 2 away.
Lyle Overbay, another one.
Sure. Had a great first half. Two away, and here's Juan Castro. Don't you think Adam Dunn would love to be heading back to his hometown of Houston? You know, and he's so self-effacing, Christian. He talked to him after the game yesterday, not named to the All-Star team, and he said, I don't deserve to be there. And he says that in honesty. It's not like he's, you know, just trying to slough it off. I mean, he's, you know, look who's there. Who should I replace? And he's right to that extent. It's a question of numbers, not a question of who should be and who shouldn't be.
Oh, I'm sure that if he stays healthy, he'll have plenty of All-Star appearances before it's all said and done. He's got the kind of talent. You got to remember that he's still just a young guy, and from a baseball standpoint, experience standpoint, I mean, he is really a greenhorn, just now getting a kind of a handle of himself and what it's like up here on a grind year-to-year basis.
Adam did make it in 2002. Aaron Boone made it last year for the Reds. Sean Casey, the lone representative, in 2001. Barry Larkin made it in 2000, one of his 12 appearances. Did Castro go around? Yes, he did, said Dale Scott down at first. So it's another 1, 2, 3, 2 straight 1, 2, 3s for Carpenter. That's what they call Juan Castro golden hands, and easy to see why if you watch him day in and day out, Chris.
You know, you can really see
Castro.
When he plays defense and offense, he's the full package out there. What he's not done in his career, Juan Castro has been able to put that offensive side of the game together, and I think he's got much more confidence this year, and confidence breeds good plays defensively. That breeds good at-bats offensively, and boy, we're seeing the best Juan Castro we've seen. Unfortunately for the Reds, Juan Castro is a free agent after this year. There's no option involved, and he's the kind of guy you'd hate to see go somewhere else.
Matheny bangs one into center field for a base hit. He's 1 for 2. He was robbed of a hit on a nice play by Castro last time. So Matheny's on, leadoff batter on again for the 3rd time in 5 innings for the Cardinals as Dave McKay talks to Matheny down at first.
Yeah, the manager loves it when the number 8 hitter in the lineup gets a base hit because it makes it so easy what you do with the next guy. He's the pitcher. Jose Akendo goes down to talk to Chris Carpenter, and we can guarantee that sometime in this at bat he's going to push a little bunt down.
Carpenter 2 sacrifices on the year. Show and bunt. Castro in tight. Carpenter pulls the bat back. Now drops it again. Gets it down. It'll be successful. Third sacrifice of the season for Carpenter, runner in scoring position in this scoreless game. Ohio Lottery winning numbers for the midday draw today on this July 5th. Pick 3, 288, 288. Pick 4, 7139, 7139. Hope you had a winner today in the Ohio Lottery. So here comes Womack. Reached on an infield hit, bounced to first, 1 for 2. Go ahead run out at second in Matheny. Reds outfield shallow on a base hit, should have a chance for a play at the plate. If he's sent by Oquendo at third, Matheny doesn't have a lot of speed. That's a strike. Beachmont Ford, easy to find, easy to deal with. The largest truck dealer in Southwest Ohio, with over 1,200 trucks available at all times. Shows bunt, pulls away, 1-1. That's the stamp of the Redbirds in this season. With runners in scoring position, they've been delivering. That'll sneak its way into the outfield. Matheny had to hold. He'll stop at third. It's first and third.
Boy, get on base, continue the inning, whatever you need to do to get the big bashers coming up. And now it's the all-star part of the lineup for the Cardinals. Just a little slap shot right there by Tony Womack. Finds a hole between third and short.
So Matheny's on third. Womack with 14 stolen bases is down at first, and Womack in his career has 27 stolen bases, been caught only twice against the Reds. And here's one of those situations where you have a runner at third, where in all probability with one out, the runner would be going, simply because you want to avoid the double play, unlike the last scenario with Edmonds at third. Larkin, Jimenez, double play depth, middle of the infield. We'll see what La Russa does. Renteria, great hit and run guy too. So there are any number of possibilities here.
Well, let's take that one step further and think along with Edgar Renteria. If it's a steal situation, in order to combat the steal, most pitchers and catchers are going to get together and they're going to throw hard stuff, mainly fastballs. So Renteria may be thinking along there saying, you know what, I may get a fastball in this at bat where I would normally get a breaking ball, because they don't want Womack to steal second base.
One strike to Renteria. Womack not going. Just missing on the corner. 1-1.
First two pitches, two hard pitches. That last one more of a cutter than a straight fastball, but still in all 88 miles an hour. That's it more at the top end for Corey Lytle.
Matheny off third. Womack, good size lead off first. There's the 1-1. Runner going. Slap foul down the right field line. Will be out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice block by Valentine. Fortunately for the Reds, that ball in the dirt. Womack not going, down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now it's back even, 2-2.
Well, Corey Lytle trying to do one thing, which is slow down Tony Womack at first base. One way to doing that easy is to just hold the ball a long time. But Edgar Renteria in the batter's box says enough is enough, and he finally calls time or asks for time and then walks away entirely.
Two. They bluff to third and nothing going with Womack, who waltzes back to first.
Why do people boo when they see that play?
You boo if it's the other team.
Oh, okay.
It's guaranteed.
I get it now.
If it's your team, you don't.
You never know, it might work.
Yeah, unfortunately it does once in a while. 2-2. Runner not going. That's inside full. 3-2.
And he's kept pretty much a hard stuff on Edgar Renteria throughout this at bat. Now you wonder, on a 3-2 count, most assuredly that Tony Womack will be heading out to second base. Will he finally break out a breaking pitch and try to get a strikeout and not worry about the stolen base? On this particular count, 3-2 with the runner going, you've got to figure a strikeout's the best opportunity for the Reds to keep the scoring in zilch.
3 balls, 2 strikes. See if Womack's off and running. He's going. Pitch lined into the corner. That'll get 1 in. It might get Womack in 2. Rounding third. He's coming to the plate. He'll score. Renteria delivers. Sending the runner 3 of 2. Pays off for the Redbirds. And once again, the running Redbirds of 2004 cash in for a 2-0 lead. 36 runs batted in for Renteria.
Well, if a strikeout is the best scenario, you have to figure that an extra base hit may be the worst scenario, and that's what happens here to Corey Lytle. A very good at bat by Edgar Renteria. Lytle tries to feather a little fastball up and into that time, maybe get a ground ball, but he gets it up above the waist, and Renteria, who normally slices most everything he hits towards right field, pulls it down the left field line and drives a couple of them in.
And here comes Pujols. Albert 2 for 2, double and a single. Now pick your poison, top to bottom. Cardinals lineup's been delivering. They're #1 in the league, and they're delivering here in the 5th. Single sacrifice, single double. 2-0 St. Louis. Pujols at the plate. Line drive to right. Here comes Renteria around third. They'll hold him. Pena's throw comes in. Perfect. They got to play at second. It won't get there in time. Taking the extra base. Another runner in scoring position. Pujols never stopped.
Well, he never stopped his right. In fact, he accelerated right on through. I'm not really sure why Adam Dunn didn't pick that ball off. Perhaps nobody called him and let him know that Renteria was not trying to score from second base. But look at Pujols. He just never stops. He realizes Willie Moe's going to fire that ball into home. And once it goes over the head of the cutoff man, Adam Dunn, he's home free at second base. You talked early on, George, about how the Cardinals steal bases as a team better than anybody else in the National League. They run the bases as a team better than anybody else, too.
Second and third, and here's Rolen, who leads all of baseball and runs batted in, and he'll pick up another, maybe two. Yes, two. 4-0 St. Louis. Boy, they strike fast, don't they? Boom, 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 boom. This crowd that has been quiet on this July 5th, awakened now, and Don Gullett will make a doctor's visit to the mound. 80 runs batted in for Rolen. Here's a look at it.
Well, you talk about a quick strike offense. Corey Lytle was just smoothing right along, no problem at all. Mike Matheny gets a base hit to start the inning. The pitcher bunts him across. All of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. Base hit, double, base hit. And the Cardinals in the middle of their lineup, I mean, they've done this over the process of about 6 pitches. As disappointing as you may feel out there, if you're Corey Lytle, you've got to think, all right, you know, I'm still the best option for this ball club right now. Meaning I'm the best option if I can stay in the ball game and throw some zeros up there. Dave Miley doesn't necessarily want to go to middle relief, especially since Lytle has not thrown all that many pitches.
Ryan Wagner, reintroduced to the Reds yesterday, coming up from Louisville. He warmed up a number of times, didn't pitch yesterday, but he's warming up today. Still only 1 out, and here's Edmonds, a walk and a strikeout, with Rolen down at first. Single by Matheny, sacrificed by Carpenter, single by Womack, a double by Renteria, 2-0, a single by Pujols, and then the Rolen base hit, 4-0. Beachmont Ford, easy to find, easy to deal with, the largest truck dealer in Southwest Ohio with over 1,200 trucks available at all times. Beachmont Ford. Long week for the Reds. No Monday off, no Thursday off. So Dave Miley thinking already about the bullpen after the lengthy use of the bullpen this weekend.
Well, it's a pretty challenging couple of series for the Reds. After all, you face the Cleveland Indians over the weekend, and they presented to Dave Miley and the pitching staff one of the best offensive teams in the American League. Statistically, they scored more runs than anybody else. They're right up there with on-base percentage and hitting. And now you come in and play the Cardinals in their own home field where they play extremely good baseball, and they're leading the National League in hitting. So if you've got a blemish on your pitching staff, the Cardinals and the Indians will find it.
1-2 to Edmonds. Got him. Edmonds punched out for the second time. The 2 strikeouts that Lytle has on this day, both of Jim Edmonds. Another look.
Got him on an off-speed pitch right there. Looks like a big sweeping curveball that Edmonds just can't hold up on.
A 2 away, and here's Cedeno, 1 for 2, singled his first time up. Bounced to second, his second time to the plate.
All of a sudden with this offense, a crowd has come alive here at Busch Stadium too. This crowd, which is a big crowd today on a bobblehead day, for was so quiet that between innings they played Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence. But it is getting a little rowdier by the inning, or should I say by the pitch.
Happens fast the way these Redbirds swing the bat. Here's Cedeno, picked up from the Mets the start of the season as an extra outfielder. He's been valuable. Two and 1 to Roger. Reds play 3 here, then head to Milwaukee for 4. At Milwaukee today, Cubs and the Brewers are going at it. Milwaukee leads at 1-0. They're in the top of the 6th inning at Miller Park. The only other National League game underway right now. 2-2. Corey Lytle got him. The visit by Gullett helps, but not before the horses are out of the corral. Double by Renteria, 2-0. Single by Rowland. An update for today. Carpenter's doing it again. 7 1/3 innings of 6-hit baseball last time. Today, no runs allowed, 3 hits in 5 innings with 5 punch-outs. He'll face a pinch hitter, Jason LaRue, as we go to the top of the 6th. The day over for Corey Lytle, Chris. Lytle will exit after allowing 4 runs in his 5 innings of work.
He had it going on too. Boy, it came apart very quickly, and not on a matter of batters, but in a matter of pitches. Those hits by Pujols and then Rowland, all coming on the first offering.
And started with Renteria's 9-pitch at bat. He kind of wore him down a little bit, got the double, knocked in 2, and then boom, boom, boom. 4-0 before you can blink an eye. Here's LaRue. Jason in at 227, 7 homers, 27 knocked in. He had a big hit for the Reds, and Chris will remember it for a long time. The Reds lost the first 2 against the Cardinals in this series, and they looked inept. We're not playing good defense, not pitching well, not hitting well, and LaRue rattled the cage of his teammates down in the dugout, and boy did he respond with a brilliant defensive play, then a 3-run homer. And the Reds won the final game of the series 6-0. So you hear a lot of stories about guys barking, but sometimes they don't bite. He barked and he bit too. And that's, you know, a manager, coaches, yeah, they can do something to lead a club, but baseball teams and athletic teams are led by players. They drive the train.
And those guys lead by example. The good ones do anyway.
LaRue punched out here, 1 away. Here comes Friel at the top of the order. Hey, Reds fans, do you know how easy it is to dress like your favorite player? Just go to CincinnatiReds.com. Click on shop for everything from player jerseys to t-shirts and caps. CincinnatiReds.com is the place to shop for all your Reds merchandise. By the way, speaking of CincinnatiReds.com, you can vote. Rob Butcher's given us the tabulation that has been released. You can vote now until Wednesday at 8 o'clock on the final vote at CincinnatiReds.com. Click on final vote at CincinnatiReds.com. Voting on the final all-star slot for the American and National League teams. Adam Dunn is not on that final list. Of the 5 players that are listed, 1 will win the vote. Bobby Abreu, Finley, Kendall, Pierre, Ramirez, all of them. Finley from Arizona, Kendall from Pittsburgh, Pierre from Florida, Ramirez from the Cubs. Those are the 5 National League players on the final vote. In the American League, Travis Hafner, who we just saw with the Indians, who's had a good first half numbers wise as the DH, is on the list. Matsui, who is just edged out. Friel, is he going to have a 3-for-3 day? It's a fair ball. Ryan Friel steams around second, heads to third. Single to right, single to center, double to left. Friel's red hot.
What a couple of back-to-back great days for Ryan Friel. He picked up 4 hits yesterday. He's got 3 of them today, so 7 in 2 days for the Reds leadoff hitter. He's going to different parts of the ballpark. That time he's out ahead of a little breaking ball early on, but he's able to keep it fair right down the line. Kicks up a little bit of dust, and Ryan Friel comes back with a double. You don't need to get all the runs back at one time, but it certainly would change the momentum of this ball game if the Reds could put at least 1 crooked number on the board here.
Well, Friel's on second with 1 away, and here's Larkin. Flied to right, bounced into a double play.
JTM Food Group would like to salute the people of our community who unselfishly volunteer their time to help others. JTM Food Group, where service is success.
Final players on that American League ballot: Frank Thomas, Paul Konerko from the Cubs, Hideki Matsui from the Yankees, who had the lead in the final outfield spot until the final vote tabulation. He's on the list. Hafner and Ford. So those are your 10 final players, 5 in the American League, 5 in the National League. To vote at CincinnatiReds.com. Final vote, you can vote now through Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Two guys we both talked about aren't on it. Dunn and Overbay, huh?
Yeah, how about that?
1 ball, 1 strike. It's in there, a strike to Larkin.
Well, I'll tell Dunner that you were rooting for him, George, and maybe he'll let you sit in his new chair.
Isn't that neat?
Oh, neat is not the word.
It's a massage special.
By the tip jar next to it, though.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That's a bullet. Did Carpenter get hit? If not, it looked like it went through him. Here comes Friel to the plate. The throw will be cut. Larkin gets a run in. The Reds get 1 back. It's a 4-1 game. Talk about low bridge. Carpenter got as close as he'll get to a haircut on a holiday.
You talk about a close shave. This is as close as it gets. This could have really been ugly. But a line shot right back at you. And boy, he doesn't get his head out of the way. That ball just missed him.
Barry Weinberg's going to come out and check. First to see if he was hit. Secondly to see how shaken up he was emotionally, not just physically.
Now, sometimes you can wrench your neck trying to get your head out of the way out there. You know, usually when a pitcher throws a ball that comes back at him, you kind of get that feeling about halfway to the plate that, uh-oh, that's the kind of pitch, depending on who the hitter is, that could come right back at me. Low and away to a right-hander and a guy that likes to go up the middle, and that's what Barry Larkin does.
There's your Ohio Lottery instant replay. Look at this close shave.
Chuck and duck. I mean, by the time he got his glove up, the ball was over second base.
They give him credit, though. Good presence of mind. He still got up to back up the plate. I can think of some guys that wouldn't have. Here's Jimenez. Larkin down at first. It's now 4-1 ball game. Reds trying to chip away, get back in it. Ryan Wagner loosened and ready for the Reds. Ray King at the same time is starting to loosen in the bullpen for St. Louis, the burly left-hander. King inclined from the left side. Eldred, Calero, Tavares, Isringhausen from the right side for Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa. Jimenez, 2 strikeouts so far today. In the dirt. Larkin will go to second. No throw. Wild pitch allows the runner to advance. So now a base hit can make it a 4-2 game.
Now we've seen a couple of breaking balls. One get away from Javier Valentin that went to the wall and advanced the runner, and that one gets away from Pat Metheny. You know, that breaking ball one like that, when it hits the dirt, it's got such spin on it, you're not really sure which way it's going to bounce. That's why you almost have to smother it as a catcher.
D'Angelo, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Womack has it. Going to third will be Larkin. Second out of the inning. And here comes Junior. 2 ground balls to second. 0 for 2. You have to figure, Chris, every time that Ken Griffey Jr. comes to this ballpark, he'll remember number 500. I mean, it's something that's so indelibly imprinted in his mind, not just the home run, but the experience, the emotion of what transpired. I remember talking to Jeff Bagwell when he came to town when they closed Synergy Field Riverfront Stadium, and he ticked off 3 or 4 home runs that were big in his career.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, it's a new park, it's nice, but you remember those moments. And it's not much bigger than a 500 moment.
That's as big as they get in most careers anyway. In fact, in most careers, you don't even sniff 500. Junior one of 20 to be able to do that.
Possibly soon to be 21. Freddie McGriff closing in quickly. One ball, one strike to Junior. Red's second run down at third. It's Barry Larkin.
Boy, he is really mixing them up very nice to Junior today. A couple of times up early in the ball game, he threw curveballs early, fastballs late. That time he dropped the fastball on a 1-1 count to get ahead of him now. Carpenter's got good break on that curveball and great command of it.
He got him. Well, the Reds get a run back on the base hit by Larkin following the double by Friel. It's 4-1. Reggie Sanders leads it off, and we return.
Gone after 5 innings of 4-run 9-hit baseball, and enter Ryan Wagner yesterday, as a matter of that recently recalled from Louisville, where he was down there for 15 ball games. He really pitched himself back into shape. You see the numbers on Ryan Wagner. It's really called for his dismissal down in Louisville earlier on. His mechanics were awry. He wasn't getting anybody out. He was kind of the victim of some bad luck and then some hard hitting. But Corey Lytle looking right now for the Reds maybe to try to climb back into this ball game. In order to do so, Ryan Wagner's going to have his act together. For the Bats, he went with a 2.7 earned run average in 15 games.
Basically, Ryan Wagner was down there for a month, left on the 30th of May. Back with the ball club here in the first week of July. Wagner will deal with Reggie Sanders, Mike Matheny, and the pitcher Chris Carpenter, 7, 8, and 9. When you go down, Chris, there's usually a couple of reasons. Number one, sometimes can be mechanical. Number two, can be mental and emotional. And for a young pitcher, very often it's a combination of both of those. And in Ryan Wagner's case, that was the story. Fly ball to center, Griffey under it. And Mac Jenkins, good guy to send somebody to down there. Very calm, cool, collected, and helped him get it collected again.
Well, that, most of the time when you get a guy coming down from the major leagues, it's not a mechanical thing. And talking to Ryan Wagner, he told me the same thing. He goes, I don't think it was as much as my mechanics, is that my attitude had soured. I was so sick of giving up cheap base hits that I wasn't really sure how to handle it. And I would give up a hit or two or a walk and then say, here we go again. And that's a kind of negative thinking that you just can't permit yourself to take to the mound with you. So Mac Jenkins has to be part psychologist and part pitching coach to really get it across, and he's done a good job in doing so.
Here's Matheny. He started the whole mess in the 5th inning. A leadoff single, a sacrifice, then Womack single, Renteria double, popped into short left. Larkin back. Here comes Friel. Got it. 2 away. 2 out, and here comes Carpenter, the pitcher. And don't forget, more Reds baseball coming your way on Fox Sports Net. Game 1 of the 3-game series today. Tomorrow we're back on the air with the Real Reds at 7:30. Game at 8. Jose Acevedo against Matt Morris. Join us. Real Reds 7:30. The game will follow. Jim Day here to bring the whole story to you, and of course that includes Reds Wrap after the ball game. Here's Carpenter. He had a hand in the 5th inning uprising with a sacrifice. Nubbed back to Wagner. Hey, that's a pretty good way to come back, huh? Economical with the pitches. 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Here we go to the 7th. Dunn leads it off. Back to Busch Stadium, 4-1 Redbirds. Want to tell you that Fox Sports Net welcomes our viewers watching on Inside Communications in Portland, Indiana, and TSC TV in Wapakoneta, Ohio. Thanks for watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Net, and welcome aboard. Here's Adam Dunn against Carpenter. Dunn fly ball to center and a strikeout. 0 for 2. A run, 5 hits for Cincinnati. Dunn, Pena, Valentin due up here in the 7th. Adam Dunn won't make it this year, but he had a taste of the All-Star experience in 2002 and Now, really, Chris, you look back on it, he had a brilliant first half of 2002 and was exhausted, running out of gas when he hit the All-Star break. Went to the All-Star game, hardly got any sleep, had to fly back in. And remember, the Reds started the second half of the season in Houston, and family and friends. It was his first time back there. He was, you know, wrapped up in that, and that got him started on a downhill slide that really lasted over a year. He was exhausted, tired, and battled through, and his average sliced in half, his home run production sliced in half for the second half of 2002.
It's amazing what a little thing can start, and the spiral or the circling of the drain for what happened that year for Adam Dunn. You know, you get a little bit of fatigue, you start changing your swing slightly, and when you change your swing, you don't have as much success, so now you begin to change your approach, and that doesn't work, so now your confidence is etched away little by little, and all of a sudden you've got everybody coming out of the woodwork giving you suggestions on how you can correct yourself. When it's really all a game of confidence anyway. You go up there and you do the simple things that Adam Dunn did to get to the major leagues, which was get yourself a good, comfortable position in the batter's box, keep your balance, and pick a pitch that you can hit.
He's back to doing a lot of those things in 2004, and the numbers are showing it. That's a strikeout of Dunn, second punch out of today. One away, and here's Pena. Hey, the Reds and Clairol have teamed up to present an event designed exclusively for ladies. Baseball 101 luncheons for ladies presented by Clairol takes place Monday, July 19th, 11:30. Luncheon is $50, includes a buffet lunch, parking, and gift bag. Ladies get a look into baseball from event host Marty Brenneman, manager Dave Miley, Reds players Jason LaRue, Danny Grays, Paul Wilson, and their spouses. For more information, visit redscommunityfund.com or call 513-765-7231. Fun day. Hope you get a chance to take part in it. Eight strikeouts for Carpenter. And here's Pena. Reached on an infield hit and a fly ball to center. Looped into left. There goes Edmonds. What a catch by the Gold Glover. You play shallow, you get a great first step. That translates into a Gold Glove play by Edmonds.
Well, this ball just hung up just enough for Jim Edmonds to come out of nowhere and make the catch. The Cardinals have put a couple of great defensive plays together in support of Chris Carpenter this afternoon that have essentially killed Reds rallies before they really got going. You talk about where errors add an extra opportunity to a team at the plate. You make a play like that, it not only does it erase the batter, it just takes your momentum away. The wind in your sails is gone. You stand up at the batter's box, you look out, and all you see is one big pulsating glove waiting for you to hit the ball.
Defense, a hallmark of these Redbirds, and Edmond comes up with another dandy. Edmonds, Roland, Renteria, Matheny, all of one Gold Gloves. Here's Valentin, bounced to second, robbed of a hit on a nice play by Womack, and fly to left. Now, really, when you build a team, too, Chris, to go to the postseason, I mean, offense is important, but, you know, it's kind of like in hockey, they say it's goaltending that makes the difference when you get there. It's defense. You pack it in. And in baseball, you know, you don't have the 10-2 ball games. It's all 4-3, 2-1, and defense makes so much of a difference in those ball games. That's why those teams usually are staying longer in the postseason. Valentin bounces out. Reds go 1-2-3 in the seventh to the bottom of 7. Cardinals have a 4-1 lead. Womack will lead it off. Their game summary: 4-9-0 for the Cardinals, 1-5-0 for the Reds. Ryan Friel, 4 hits yesterday and 3 more today. He's been on a hot streak. Big part of the Reds offense. His double and the Larkin single produced the only Cincinnati run. Roland, Renteria, the 2 big hits for the Cardinals. Carpenter still in there. And exiting the game, Corey Lytle on the hook right now for the loss. Carpenter's been tough again, Chris.
Yeah, they really only needed Carpenter and maybe 2 runs at this point, as tough as he has been. Good defense behind him. A double play turn by the Cardinals there. But when he's had to, he's put the breaking ball where he's had to. He's had a little slider working. His off-speed pitch is going good. For the second time in a row, the Reds have seen Chris Carpenter right on top of his game.
Mike Matheny's been the guy flashing the numbers down. And Matheny and Carpenter have teamed up to put together a pretty good day so far. The Cardinals lead it 4-1. Bottom of 7. Here's Womack. Had a hand in it. Yep, he's got 2 hits and he scored a run, but more importantly, he's come up with 2 fine defensive plays. Great defense both sides so far in this one today. Jimenez has it. Womack's retired, 1 away. Sierra Mist, shockingly refreshing. Unleash the fresh taste of lemon lime Sierra Mist from the makers of Pepsi, the choice of the Reds. Here's Renteria with 2 on and an out in the 5th. He doubled into the left field corner. That made it 2-0 St. Louis after a Pujols single, a Roland single, then it was 4-0. And those are the 4 runs the Redbirds have. Edgar's going to the All-Star game, as is Red shortstop Barry Larkin. Renteria and Adam Everett nip and tuck all the way down to the final vote. And Renteria 1 out in the final tabulations. It used to be, Chris, when there was only ballots in the ballpark, you could almost figure who was going to get in because you'd look and see who was home the last 2 weeks.
And which of those teams that were home actually drew big crowds.
Yep. But now with the online ballot too, it became a little more interesting. Two balls, 2 strikes.
I guess the online ballot somewhat eliminates all those thousands of little chads you have in the backseat of your car from taking your kids home from the ball game.
Still fill them out. 2-2. Up and in will go full. It was a 3-2 pitch that did in Corey Lytle with a double by Renteria, and it was that 9-pitch at bat that may have been the key at bat of the game so far. Renteria battled, finally got the double on the 3-2 pitch. Got him. Strike 3, first strikeout for Wagner in his second inning of work. He had a 1-2-3-6, and he's got the first 2 outs here in the 7th. Nice way to come back.
Well, you know, Ryan Wagner's got that put-away slider, and I say it like that because when he throws it right, it is a pitch that is very difficult to hit. That one he happened to just hang up there and almost a backup slider that time, but he fooled everybody. I think including the umpire. Renteria was kind of perplexed at it, didn't like the call, but it goes as a strikeout. When Wagner gets that slider down, boy, it's a nasty, tough pitch to hit.
Here's a nasty hitter to pitch against. Pujols 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. The average up to 311 again. Nubbed in front of the plate. Valentin says, let me take it, and it's off the glove. And safe at first will be Pujols. Valentin's throw drifted right over the line. And let's see if they'll call him out for running out of the baseline. And they will.
And here comes Tony.
Tony La Russa will argue. Both umpires conferred. The home plate umpire Brian Gorman, the first base umpire Dale Scott. They both nodded their heads saying yes, he was inside the line and out of the box. And you can judge for yourself. Take a look. Valentin tells Wagner, get away, I've got it. And look where Pujols is. Hit the top of his helmet, and Pujols had to be in the foul side in the box heading down, and he wasn't. He was in fair territory. So he's out. He nods his head to Dale Scott. Story of it, the Reds get out of the inning, a 1-2-3. They need some runs. They trail it 4. Back at Busch Stadium, Carpenter delivers to Castro, who rolls it down the third base line and foul. 1 fly ball to center and a strikeout 0 for 2. It'll be Castro the pitcher spot due up next, and Jacob Cruz is out in the on-deck circle loosening up. Then the top of the order, Ryan Friel. Introducing a delicious twist on ordinary chicken salad. Arby's Market Fresh Chicken Salad. Try a sandwich, a wrap, or a bowl. One great chicken salad, 3 ways to enjoy it now at Arby's. Bouncer to short. 6-3 put out. Castro retired, 1 away. By the way, if you're scoring at home on the interference play, at first it would be 2 unassisted. The catcher, whoever made the throw, the catcher or the pitcher, would be 1 unassisted or 2 unassisted. But in that case, Valentin made the throw. A runner called out. Inning ends. La Russa on his way out with the left-hander hitter Cruz coming to the plate. Carpenter's delivered to his last batter. He gets the right-hander out to start the 8th. And the call to the bullpen will take place. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Skyline Chili, the official chili of the Cincinnati Reds. Carpenter's pitched great. Back after this.
Oh, there's Ray King, former Reds farmhand, coming in here. This guy is, boy, is he hot right now or what? 1.2 earned run average. 19 inning scoreless streak he is on, longest by any Cardinal pitcher of the year.
Unscored upon in 27 games in those 19 innings, and this left-hander ready to deal to the pinch hitter Jacob Cruz. Cruz, the good news for the Reds. The Reds' best pinch hitter. He's been outstanding. 10 pinch hits for the Reds, leading the league in that category. The tough news is here that left-handers hit 188 against Ray King. Boy, he's really found his niche, Chris.
You know, you're exactly right, George. He's a guy that, you know, again, a veteran pitcher, comes over here to pitch for Tony La Russa, loves these kind of players. Gets just enough work to stay sharp, but they're trying to keep him from being overworked. And when your starter goes into the 8th inning, that certainly is a pretty good start at keeping your bullpen fresh.
Carpenter 7 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts, no walks.
Very similar numbers for Carpenter this time as last time. In fact, a little bit better. Gave up 1 run today, gave up only 3 runs his last time out in 7 1/3 innings. In both games against the Reds, he's had high strikeout totals. He struck out 8 today, didn't walk a batter, and last time against the Reds, he struck out 7 and walked only 1.
Tough stuff from King. Not very often Cruz is punched out. This year he is there. That's a strikeout, and that's your second out of the inning. 4 Reds terrace box seats at $100. Reds concession fund bucks 15. Is that up to 115? Nope, 65. Might sound right, but it is. That's when you buy the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket pack. Reds and MasterCard teamed up to give fans a deal to designated games with savings ranging from $32 to $50. Phillies, Diamondbacks, Cardinals, many others. Reds.com for advanced ticket window purchase of that package from Great American Ballpark. 2 away, and here's Ryan Friel. 3 for 3 after 4 hits yesterday. Boy, he's on a hot streak. Friel peeks down at Roland, who's in even with the bag. Yep, he offers at it for a strike. Four for 5 yesterday was Ryan. That tied his career high in hits set last September the 16th against the Buccos. 0-2. Well, King just keeps mowing them down. And the Reds go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. They've only got 3 outs left. We're going to the bottom of 9, bottom of 8. Roland will lead it off.
A little tune-up work for another member of the Reds bullpen. John Riedling comes in. Game number 40 for John. 4-1 overall. He pitched in yesterday's ball game with varying success. He pitched an inning and gave up 3 hits and a couple of runs. So he'd like to figure out what's going on with Riedling and get back to the same pitching performances that registered him as really the most dependable member of this bullpen in the first half of the season.
On Sunday, Riedling pitched an inning, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. and struck out a batter. He's got Roland Edmund Cedeno here, bottom of 8. Roland today, line to right. Nice play by Pena to rob him of extra bases. Popped out, and then in the 5th, with runners at 2nd and 3rd, he singled to center to pick up his 79th and 80 runs batted in. He leads the major leagues in those runs batted in totals. He's heading to the All-Star game also. There's another base hit, multi-hit game for Roland. Leadoff hitter on here in the 8th, and here comes Jim Edmonds. Hey, don't forget, Totally NASCAR with host Chris Devoda comes your way every weeknight. The only nightly NASCAR show with the latest information, highlights, analysis, and interviews from the newsmakers in stock car racing. Totally NASCAR weeknights at 5:30 only on Fox Sports Net. Back home time, that's about an hour away. Hour difference, an hour earlier here in St. Louis. Edmonds, a walk, a strikeout, a strikeout. Liner, that's in the corner. Pena will track it down. Roland will go to third. It's 1st and 3rd. We talked about speed and about numbers. Nobody does that more than anybody else in baseball. The Cardinals are #1 in sending runners from 1st to 3rd on base hits. And that's good base running. Doesn't necessarily mean speed. It's knowing what to do.
Knowing where the players are playing, where the defense is, that is, how well they can throw, how hard the ball is hit, who's covering, all those different things. And that's why, you know, veterans are usually a little better than that than younger players are. And this is a ball club that's got a lot of veterans, but also very smart veteran players.
Here's Taguchi, backup outfielder, who will pinch hit. Reds will bring the infield in with runners 1st and 3rd. I mean, you talk about it sounds like a simple thing, but when you're best in baseball at that statistic, what it means is you got more opportunities to score runs without getting a hit. If you're 1st and 3rd rather than 1st and 2nd, even if you give up a double play ground ball with no outs, you still get a run out of it, as opposed to no run scoring, and that's helped the Cardinals be #1 offensively in the league. There goes Edmonds, and it's fouled off. There's so many more dynamics to your offense when you're 1st and 3rd compared to 1st and 2nd. If you're the defense, if you're the pitcher, you look at that situation completely differently, because then the onus is on the defense, the onus is on the pitching, and the advantage goes to the offense.
Oh, well, sometimes you're bringing the infield in like the Reds are right now. They're trying to keep that 4th run from scoring. That makes a 300 hitter about a 500 hitter.
0-2, really looking for a punch out. That's down and away. Taguchi, recall from Memphis a little over 2 weeks ago. Edmonds going again. There's a dribbler down to 2nd. They'll hold the runner at 3rd and get the out. So Taguchi's retired. The runner does not advance to score, and Reggie Sanders will come to the plate.
Well, with the infield in, they've got the plan ahead of time that he's not going to try to score. So this time, Scott Rowland, who's on 3rd base, is going to take a look at it and realize it's got to go through the infield for him to try to go home. And that ball gloved by D'Angelo Jimenez, and they get the out at 1st. Edmonds does go to 2nd base, and with 1st base open, they're going to walk Reggie Sanders. That ball was pretty much right down the middle of the plate, but high. If Reggie had been ready for it, he had a chance to swat that thing.
Matheny on deck, and that one drifts
There's
over the plate
one.
too. Now Pete were at the plate, you know he would have swung at one of those.
We've seen him do that before.
Peter Edward, that is, Rose. So intentional walk. Bases are now loaded. And here comes Matheny. Matheny started the trouble for the Reds and Corey Lytle in the 5th. Lytle pitched great through 4. It was a scoreless game in the 5th. Matheny singled. Carpenter sacrificed him to second. Womack singled. Then Renteria doubled in 2 to make it 2-0. Pujols singled, went to second on a throw home. Then Rowland singled to knock in 2 more, and it was 4-0. That's been the extent of the Cardinals offense. You see Ray Langford grabbing a bat with the right-hander Riedling out on the mound and no left-hander warming in the bullpen. Matheny at the plate, and if the inning continues, looks like Langford will grab a bat and head out there. Strike on the inside corner. Ray King is standing in the on-deck circle. Isringhausen is up in the bullpen. He would be on in the 9th unless this game gets out of hand. Riedling trying to stop it from happening right now. Bases loaded, 1 out. Reds double play depth, middle of the infield. That's 2 strikes. Matheny 0 for 3 against Riedling in their previous encounters.
John just trying to overthrow a little bit on that one, trying to bury the best pitch you possibly can, and sometimes you think that by putting more effort into it, it's going to be a better breaking ball. Looking for a strikeout or a ground ball right back at somebody.
Castro done even with the bag at 3rd and 1st. Larkin, Jimenez double play depth, middle of the infield. Got the strikeout he wanted. 2 away, and everybody can drop back a step or 2 in the infield. And here comes Langford to hit.
Nasty pitch right here by John Riedling. Looked like it may have been that little changeup splitter that he throws. He actually has kind of a modified splitter grip on that thing, but it goes straight down. Good arm action, got the strikeout.
No one up in the bullpen for the Reds, so it'll be Riedling against Langford. No place to put him, bases loaded. The once a Cardinal and a Cardinal again has been a very productive part of this 2004 Redbird team, ready to come to the plate. The Reds left-handed quotient in the bullpen now changed, of course, with Mike Matthews on the disabled list. He'll undergo surgery tomorrow for bone chips in his elbow, and we send our best wishes to him and hope for a quick recovery. So it's White and Norton on the left side, Van Poppel, Riedling, Wagner, Todd Jones, and Graves on the right side for Cincinnati's bullpen. So it's Riedling against Langford. First time they've faced each other. Bases loaded with Cardinals. The Redbirds lead at 4-1. We're in the bottom of 8. Langford 208 and no homers against left-handers, 275 and 5 homers against right-handers this year. Slapped into the seats and foul, 1-1. Two singles and a walk. Put Riedling in this jam, and he's trying to get Langford to end it. Dribbled down to second. Jimenez has it. They'll get Langford get out of the jam. Good bounce back by Riedling. Gets the final out of the inning. Last roundup time for the Reds. Larkin him.
Well, Jason Isringhausen came in yesterday's ball game against the Seattle Mariners, picked up his 18th save of the year. He's 18 for 22 in that department. A 3-1 earned run average, and this is a save situation with the Cardinals clinging to a 4-1 lead. Comes in to try to polish off the Reds. Boy, it looked like it was a pitcher's duel right from the very get-go, with Corey Lytle and Chris Carpenter trading zeros on the scoreboard until the Cardinals were able to reach Lytle in the 5th inning for 4 runs.
So it's Larkin against Isringhausen. Langford stays in the game. He's in left field. Edmonds still in center. Taguchi in right field. So Isringhausen will enter the game in Reggie Sanders' spot in the order. He's hitting in the 7th spot. They want his bat in the lineup. He got a 2-run single last time.
He showed it last time. Hope he didn't use it all up with one swing. Well, actually, I hope he did.
We hope he did. Here's Barry. Flied to right. Bounced into a double play and singled in the lone Reds run in the 6th. It came after a Friel double. Larkin 5 for 12 and a homer against Isringhausen in his career. Under the glove of Isringhausen. Here comes Womack. They got him. Fine play by number 4. 1 away here in the 9th.
You know, the pitcher really helped right there. I'm not sure if that ball gets fielded. If it goes right back through the box, maybe Renteria gets it, maybe not. But a pitcher that finishes in a position where he can at least throw his glove at the ball and try to slow it down as it goes through the infield, possibly saved himself a leadoff runner right there.
Here's Jimenez. D'Angelo struck out twice, grounded out. All 3 of those at bats against Carpenter. Chris Carpenter went 7 1/3, 5 hits and a run, 8 strikeouts, no walks. He continues a brilliant stint at home. In his last 5 home games now, his earned run average is a little over 1. Hasn't allowed a home run in his last 5 home games, and that equates to pretty good numbers.
I'll tell you, he really kept the ball down today, mixed his pitches up nicely, and whatever that off-speed pitch he's throwing, he's getting better and better at that. Usually it's a little more difficult the second time a pitcher faces a ball club, just from the standpoint of familiarity, but he actually topped his numbers from the first time.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Jimenez 1 for 4 against Isringhausen in his career. Junior on deck here in the 9th. Game 1 of the 3-game series. We're on the air again tomorrow. Jose Acevedo will go for the Reds. Matt Morris will go for St. Louis. He got him. Don't forget, coming up after today's game, Gold Star Chili Red Drop will come your way. JD Jim Day will be by to put the finishing touches, wrap up this one on Gold Star Chili Red Drop after the game and after every game on Fox Sports Net. They're on their feet. 41,852 showed up at Busch Stadium today for Bob Gibson bobblehead day. Big crowd on hand. Watched not a power pitching display of Bob Gibson, but a pitching perfection display of Chris Carpenter, seeking his 9th win, and Isringhausen's trying to close it out. Junior 0 for 1 against Izzy in his career. Junior today bounced to second twice and struck out 0 for 3. Dave Miley fully aware of this 3-game series importance. A loss here would drop the Reds 6 games back in the Central. Milwaukee's won over the Cubs 1-0, so a victory here for the Cardinals would tack on a game to their 3-game lead over the Cubs. Chicago would be 4 back. Three and one. Reds need base runners, trailing by 3, 4-1. Here's the 3-2. Drill deep to right, heading towards the corner. Taguchi back, looking up. It will be foul. Again, no more than a couple of feet foul down the line. Very similar to Sanders' ball the other way.
That junior just got out ahead of it a little bit. Looked like it was a fastball that he just got the bat head going. It's got plenty of height and plenty of distance. He just wondered if that ball is going to be able to fade back in fair or continue to hook foul. Really not a whole lot of hook on that ball. It pretty much started on the line and stayed on it.
3-2 again with 2 away. Ball 4, and the Reds have another life. So Griffey walks down to first, and here comes Adam Dunn. Dunn today flied out, struck out twice against Isringhausen, 0 for 2 in his career. These two teams have hooked up for some dandy 9th innings over the years, and the Reds trying to come up with a 9th inning rally here. They'll leave Griffey alone. He'll take second base. No stolen base. Defensive indifference. Was not held on. No throw made. That's why 3-0. Getting a little more interesting. Dunn gets on base. Willie Mopena comes up representing the tying run.
You know, if you're Jason Isringhausen, you got to figure right here, I'm going to throw 3 fastballs, or at least 3 pitches that I know I can throw for a strike, and if he hits them, let's see how far he can hit them. Do not bring the tying run up. That's exactly what the Reds want. Rio Leo.
Three and 1. And Isringhausen will step off. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks. And Willie Mopena represents the tying run. That'll send Dave Duncan trotting out to the mound to talk to his closer.
Well, he pitched 1 1/3 innings yesterday. Jason Isringhausen has closed 6 ball games in which he's had to pitch more than 1 inning to get the save. 1 1/3, not exactly all that strenuous, you don't figure, and he looks like he's got pretty good stuff, throwing the fastball in the lower 90s. But he didn't really throw too many breaking balls to Ken Griffey Jr., and he's missed with the fastball. Sometimes when your pitcher gets into that kind of a funk where you can't throw anything for a strike, mostly a fastball, you figure you can throw your heater in there, but sometimes it's better off to mix in a breaking ball just to kind of change the pace of things.
Lefty-righty action in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Klein and Taveras each loosening.
And that breaking ball just might be in the offering here for Willie Mopena.
Reds looking for some Pena lightning again. Willie Moe, couple of grand slams this year, couple of big hits, pinch hit homer, won the pinch hit grand slam. He drills one here. We got a brand new ball game. Breaking ball drops in there for strike one. Pena's been in pressure situations. He's got 2 pinch hit homers among his 7 home runs. That one clips the corner. Another breaking ball.
That's a pretty good curveball right there for a guy that has seen most of his playing time this year against left-handers. The one area yet that Willie Moe is a little slow in coming along in.
No balls, 2 strikes. Setting up away is Matheny. He got it. Well, Isringhausen made it interesting with the 2 walks, but Matheny and Isringhausen will high-five each other and wrap this one up. Scott Rowland, 2 big runs batted in. Same thing for Edgar Renteria. Rowland leads the world in runs batted in on the year. He's got 80. The last 2 key ones as the Cardinals won. Final numbers on this one: 2 hours 37 minutes of baseball, 41,852 at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Chris Carpenter pitched Brody at least 7 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Isringhausen picks up his 19th save, and result of it, Cardinals got the pitching and the Cardinals got the hits they needed, all in the 5th inning. Renteria and Rowland, 2 runs batted in each. Whole lot more to talk about. Gold Star Chili Reds wrap coming up next with Jim Day. See you at the ballpark.